Should the Patriots go all in on moving up in the draft to go get Tua?
Jason, the short answer is no. I mean, do I think he would be a perfect replacement for Tom Brady? Yes. And in a normal season with normal draft capital, yeah, you would say the Patriots could make a play for Tua. But this is not one of those years, unfortunately. The Patriots are tight up against the cap. They have the oldest team currently in the league after free agency, just like they have been the past 2 years. This is a team that has pick number 23, and then they don't have another pick until 87. So if you're talking about ammunition about moving up, you're using a draft pick, first-round pick next year, possibly dangling Joe Thuney, the all-pro guard, out there as sort of a late first, early second type. But I don't think they have the ammunition. And then there's the other thing about, is Tua really going to slip? And I know there's a lot of conversations about the Dolphins not taking him, the Chargers. But from the league sources that I've talked to, they think that the Dolphins have been putting on a major smokescreen, that they are actually in on Tua. And I just don't see Tua slipping into the teens in this draft. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, this makes no sense to me as well. They don't have enough cap space in terms of all of their needs. They have to address so many issues on both sides of the football, a lot of departures out of New England this offseason. And more importantly, I don't think that Tua will slip. So if you're the New England Patriots, you're Bill Belichick, you have to realize what you have and get a return on an investment in Jarrett Stidham. Now, Jarrett Stidham is trying to replace a legend. That's nothing new to me, and it's not going to be anything new to Jarrett Stidham, because when you're getting those practice reps, as I was getting those practice reps in 2000 behind Bruce Smith, and when he left the team, it was all on my shoulders, and I performed well in the absence of a legend. Now, I'm not certain how Jarrett Stidham is going to respond, but at least give the guy the chance, the opportunity. You've invested in him. A lot of great remarks made about him in his practice sessions. It's time for him to convert that on to the playing field. Trust me, sometimes being the unknown guy, people always doubting and critiquing you, someone inside that building, and hopefully it's Bill Belichick, believes in Jarrett Stidham and give them that chance.
Look, there's a lot of people, including Marcellus Wiley, who think Tua Tagovailoa is the best quarterback in this draft. And if not for the injury history, I think his prospect, he would probably be the number one pick, if not for his injury history. I think the only team that it makes sense for is for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. They're playing with house money, Greg. They've been to 9 Super Bowls, won 6. It's Bill Belichick. Tom Brady has moved on. Why not take a gamble on a guy that many people believe is clearly the best quarterback in this draft if you remove the injury history?
Jason, I agree with you. And I talked to a league source not too long ago who's like, if he didn't have the injury this past season, we wouldn't even be talking about this, that he would be going perhaps number 1 overall over Burrows. But the thing is like they just don't have enough ammunition to go up and get him, especially if you're talking about if he doesn't get out of the top 10. They just don't have the picks. I mean, I can't see Belichick next year when they're, basically half
the 49ers don't owe. Do the 49ers owe Bill Belichick, perhaps? That he handed them Jimmy Garoppolo? Maybe there's a friendly deal to be had here between them and John Lynch?
You're not the only one who thinks that there's a little bit left on the table from the Jimmy G trade. But, you never know. I mean, 13, I think it's possible. But anything before that, forget it. They don't have the ammunition to go up and get them.
Marcellus, don't you think the Patriots without Tom Brady, don't they have to go out and get a quarterback in this draft?
No, not at all. Tua's slam dunk the best quarterback prospect in this draft. The injuries, I think, are being exaggerated. We play a contact sport. These were some contact injuries. And at times, because of scheduling and calendar, he rushed back to those situations.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he's, quote-unquote, injury-prone. But in terms of delivering the football, playing the position, in the pocket, mobility, arm strength, mental acumen, everything you want to list, Tua will be special in the league. And it's amazing. You talk about Tua versus Justin Herbert. You talk about Tua versus Joe Burrow. Everyone has questions on the translation of Burrow's game to the NFL. some questions about Herbert's game in the NFL. No questions about Tua's game, just his injury concerns, which I think are being exaggerated.
All right, let's move on to another topic. Who's more motivated to prove they can win without the other, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady?
It's interesting, Jason, because for years I would have said, and I've heard from Patriots sources that said that they believe that Bill wanted to see whether he could win without Tom at some point. And I'm talking like this is years ago. But now, given the circumstances and where he's gone, I got to think it's Tom Brady. I mean, for him to go out on his own at this point, all by himself, he's not going like, say, Josh McDaniels got a head coaching job and he joined him out there. And it's a different system. It's a different total surrounding cast. It's a different city. It's different everything. And for, Tom Brady is, I mean, his legacy's not at stake. But, I mean, he's put a lot out there. And I think Tom is the most driven right now to win without the other one.
Oh, it's definitely Bill Belichick. He's built for this. This is not his first rodeo in terms of departing a great and showing his greatness. Ask the Tuna about this and Bill Parcells and their relationship and him being the defensive coordinator, him finally branching off to become Bill Belichick, the GOAT of all coaches. So I think right now he has a head start in terms of how to handle this new situation, how to handle adversity, how to handle the questions, and also the performance where Tom Brady's going to all new variables. And this is going to be a new thing for Tom Brady. So I think the experience of Belichick, and I don't want to call it petty, but certainly Belichick has a part of his mindset that's compartmentalized to showing I am great, not so much we are great. He did it with Bill Parcells. He's going to be able to do it with Tom Brady.
Yeah, I hate to disagree with Greg because he obviously knows the parties involved a lot better than I do, but I just don't think either one of these guys have anything to prove. But Bill Belichick has absolutely nothing to prove. He won Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator with Bill Parcells and the New York Giants and Lawrence Taylor. Yeah, he flopped in Cleveland, but 9 Super Bowls in New England, 6 Super Bowl titles, 11-5 with Matt Castle as a quarterback or whatever they were. I just don't think there's anything to prove for Bill Belichick. And so I think Tom Brady has more passion, which leads me to my next question, Greg. Tom Brady, in this very unusual offseason, he's moved on to a new environment in Tampa. And I'm wondering if you think that this disjointed offseason is going to hurt Tom Brady's ability to have a successful first campaign in Tampa Bay.
It's a great question, and of course it will affect him. And I think probably privately, Bill Belichick's a little bit excited, and he's just like, all right, just cancel the whole offseason and let's just, have 2 weeks of training camp and go into it, because Tom's got to go there and he's got to put in protections. He has to get with these receivers to get them to run the routes the way that he wants to. Are they going to all of a sudden now be running option routes and conversion routes and things like that were staples of things that Tom Brady did for 20 years, all of a sudden in Tampa without a training camp and things like that? So, yeah, I think marrying the Bruce Arians, what he wants to do, what Tom Brady wants to do, that whole system, that's going to take time in the classroom, on the playing field, practice time. So the longer this drags out and the longer the Bucs have to stay out of their facility, the tougher transition it's going to be for Tom Brady. And remember, Peyton Manning, when he went to Denver, and everybody talks about how well that conversion went, if I'm not mistaken, Peyton Manning didn't win a Super Bowl until year 4 in Denver. So it's a tough transition. And for people to think Tom Brady with just a year or 2 left is all of a sudden going to knock it out of the park without any offseason, it's not going to happen.
I disagree with you, Greg, right there. Look, it's going to have the same effect on all players, maybe an effect on players who prepare more, a little greater. But I think this will everyone's going to feel the pinch from the fact that you can't prepare as normal. But here's the thing. So since you can't prepare like normal, what do? You dumb down the offense. Oh, we're going to dumb down an offense with all these weapons for a genius at quarterback. And Tom Brady is known for the outlet passes, the option routes, short, intermediate throws. And those are, in relative scope, the easier throws to make compared to the deep balls and going to the deeper parts of the playbook. So scaling it back with their running game and their receiving core is actually going to play into Tom Brady's hands because that's what he likes to do. Have those option routes, those short, intermediate, the crossings, the outlets, the leaking out the backfield. All those things are closer to day one offensive playbook than it is the latter. So I think Brady will be fine.
Marcellus, I got to go back at you and just say, as a player, I know a lot of players, particularly at the professional level, don't believe in practice as much as the coaches do. But the one group that I just don't think that's true about is quarterbacks. Tom Brady, timing, hand signals, communication, body language signals. You don't think the guy's out on a practice in a park right now in Tampa, and they're kicking him off the field. You don't think Tom Brady and a quarterback is more vulnerable, a new quarterback in a new situation is more vulnerable than perhaps anybody else in the NFL?
Well, one, you can always simulate as much as you can with mental reps, and that's a thing in NFL. As they're scaling back physically in all NFL facilities in terms of practice time and physicality, the mental reps are perking up and peaking. So what's happening now? You're going to get more mental reps. I think that comes into play. Two, the chemistry that you lose on the field, you can try and recreate that in terms of when you get out there and you say, look, we're all playing shoulder option. So basically, the way that they line up, we play opposite of that. That was a thing in New England for Tom Brady. I knew he knew that system like the back of his hand. However, last three OTAs, last three off seasons with Tom Brady in New England, wasn't there. You know, Tom Brady has missed off seasons before in New England, maybe out of spite, but also because he knew this system. This system, it won't be that difficult for him to pick up. It's just the chemistry, the continuity that he may be a step behind, but thankfully, everyone will be a step behind, not just Tom Brady.
Yeah, see, I completely disagree with Marcellus, and I think that, you know, the longer this goes on, and I can tell you NFL teams are operating under the guise that, or at least most of them, that there will be no offseason, that there may be a truncated training camp. And to me, this is going to favor every team that kept their coach, quarterback, defensive coordinator, scheme, all those teams that kept everything together, they are going to have a much bigger head start. I mean, teams with Matt Rule, Mike McCarthy as coaches trying to install new systems, Tom Brady trying to marry what he's done for 20 years with Bruce Arians, all those teams are going to be a step back, and it's just a question of when is it going to click for them, and will they have enough time to make the playoffs?
You just heard it from Greg Bedard, the Kansas City Chiefs. My Kansas City Chiefs are going to repeat as Super Bowl champions because of this offseason. Great prediction, Greg.
Yeah, right.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.